Okay, guys, so that's my first live stream, and it's not gonna be get to know or something. I want guys to drop you something that I would have dropped in a regular video. I want to discuss the cybersecurity myths we are seeing in 2026. We're gonna dissect them one by one, and feel free, of course, to ask questions. And before I start, let me first see. Okay, so we got Psycho, Ife, hello over here, hello. All right, so the first myth that I want to talk about is that AI tools, people think that AI tools have solved the human error problem. Well, the thing is, it is becoming pervasive belief over time. AI is our thing to go to solve all security problems. We have deployed generative AI powered defense systems. They think that these are maybe can replace SOC analysts that never sleep and firewalls that think. Well, with AI, they think that we have finally engineered the human out of this loop. The assumption is that AI, let me say, maybe will catch the phishing email that maybe your colleague in accounting would have clicked, right? Thank you very much. Good luck with your channel as well. So that's the first myth, the illusion that AI is solving our problems or the solving the replacing SOC analyst. Well, let me tell you that the reality is different. In 2026, AI has not solved human error, because it can't. It has maybe weaponized the human errors. We have entered the era of, let me call it, hyper personalized social engineering. So we see hackers are no longer sending uh, poorly spelled emails here from some Nigerian princess, right? They're using LLMs to scrape a target's LinkedIn profile, recent tweets, and even leaked internal communication styles to craft very convincing messages that are indistinguishable from legitimate correspondence. So, yes, AI is a force multiplier for both sides. Maybe implementing AI defense without aggressive AI governance and anti maybe poisoning protocols is like building um, a castle on a quicksand, right? Do you agree on this? I want you guys to take your comments on the first myth that AI is solving the gap, security gap. So before I move on to the next gap or the next myth, let me first make sure that there are no questions. I don't want to skip any question in my first live. Okay, looks like there are no questions. Let me move on to the next myth. So, have you heard about deepfakes? Deepfakes, faking someone's voice or a complete image. We have seen deepfakes on maybe Instagram Reels and TikTok Reels. You can just replicate anyone's person, right? Like replicate the president talking like exactly he is. Now, the second myth is basically closely connected to the idea of deepfakes. So, the myth is deepfakes are a future threat for celebrities, but not business leaders. I mean, yeah, people can fake celebrities, but business leaders and also those who work in cybersecurity, they are immune from falling victim to deepfakes. So, here is the narrative. I want you guys to think about this narrative. Deepfakes are for Hollywood or political disinformation. That's what most people think. If it is not Hollywood or political disinformation, then deepfake doesn't happen. So it is basically not true. The narrative is, let's say my CFO, Chief Financial Officer, who doesn't exist, but I'm hypothetically speaking, my CFO isn't going to be spoofed in a Zoom call here. This is perhaps the most maybe financially devastating myth of 2026. It can happen in the business niche. Okay, it doesn't happen only in Hollywood. So the reality is the barrier to entry for high fidelity, let me quote, high fidelity audio and video cloning has collapsed dramatically. Anyone can do deepfakes. In 2024, I remember seeing the first 25 million loss due to a deep fakes CFO video call. I just cannot remember the reference. If I remember the reference, I will drop it in the comments. Today, we are seeing deepfake as a service is available on the dark web for, you can buy it not less than or more I mean approximately $500 more or less. You can just buy deepfake of anyone. We're seeing basically a surge in how can I call this? Maybe virtual kidnapping and business email compromise. It's no longer just an email asking for a wire transfer here, right? It could be a phone call from your boss sounding exactly like them with the correct inflection and urgency here. So the goal is instructing you to bypass a procedure just this once, right? Also, biometric voice authentication, once the gold standard for banking, is effectively dead as a standalone control. So the adage that trust but verify works, but it is obsolete. I think the new standard is zero trust for content. If you cannot cryptographically verify the origin of a digital communication, you must assume it is synthetic. And an example of a cryptographic standard you can use to verify digital communication, Google it. It is C2PA. Okay. All right, it's time now to see the questions. Do we have any questions on the second myth? Let's see here. Looks like nope. Right. So the third myth is that basically if you happen to see a live audit on a company, like, or if you happen to be someone who does professional auditing and your company is compliant, you see this company assume that if we are compliant, therefore we are secure. If we passed our ISO 27001 last month, this means we meet the new 2025 SEC disclosure mandates. We're good. However, it doesn't work like this. Compliance and auditing is a snapshot in time. Security, or cybersecurity, is a continuous state of resistance. So the gap between audit ready and battle ready has never been wider. In 2026, maybe we are witnessing compliance fatigue here. Organizations and companies are so obsessed, as far as I have seen, with the expanding regulatory landscape. You see ISO, COBE IT, and now the EU AI Act, US critical infrastructure mandates. Companies are so obsessed with these standards that they are optimizing for audits, not that rather than adversaries and hackers. Hackers know this. And I have published a video before about why I love hackers more than compliance officers, and that's exactly the reason. They specifically, companies, target the, how can I come up with a good term? Scope gaps, okay, the legacy systems and third-party vendors that were conveniently excluded from the audit scope to make passing easier. The idea is business oriented. On the other hand, they forget about the how hackers really think. That's what matters. See, compliance is the floor, not the ceiling. A compliant organization or a company can still be flattened by an attack or a ransomware attack if it lacks resilience or cyber resilience, the necessary protection. And of course, it is the ability to take a punch and keep operating. I don't know if you have seen my video where I published a situation where you either pay for the ransom or you actually decide to continue and fight the attackers without paying the ransom. And that's pure business decision that doesn't have to be related to compliance. So these basically are the three myths that I have seen from my experience in 2026 since we started the year: the over-reliance on AI, the over-reliance on business standards, compliance, and basically the rise of deep fakes. We are seeing a lot of deep fakes, and people think it's only in celebrity, it's only in Hollywood. It doesn't happen in business. Well, it's happening, and if you haven't seen this, it doesn't mean that's not gonna happen to you or not gonna see it happening somewhere else. So these are the three popular myths. Now I want to take your questions and see, guys, what you have to say here. By the way, I want to make sure that, guys, you have downloaded your free cybersecurity guide. I will drop the link in the description to make sure, guys, you have access to this guide. It contains all the necessary. If you're just getting started in cyber, it has everything you need to learn to basically get started, the necessary terms, definitions, so on and so forth. Yeah. So, and yeah, I want you guys to give me ideas what you want to see in the next live. Do you want to see live hacking? Do you want to see more discussions like this, or you want to see career discussions like questions and answers, what certificate to seek, what jobs you can qualify for, the roadmaps? These kind of things really matter. If you want me to discuss it in the next live, you can just drop a comment. If you haven't watched this live, or you can just send me, guys. Here I'm taking a look now at the questions. You don't have to ask now, by the way. It's my first live, so I don't expect a lot of questions. Maybe in the upcoming lives we can see a lot of questions and we can give answers so that the benefit can, or the advantage can, all of you can basically see it. So if there are no questions, I am really hungry now and I want to eat. So that was my take, and that was today's live, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.